To a new analysis released by Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst and OpenTheBooks.com auditors, Russia and China have been on the payroll of the United States. Since 2017, allegedly more than 1.3 billion U.S. tax dollars have been sent to Russia and China. According to their findings, more than $490 million from U.S. grants and contracts are paid to organizations in China. Organizations in Russia received around $870 million. And these numbers likely do not represent the total amount of U.S. dollars sent to China and Russia because federal agencies do not follow tax dollars to their final destination. In the wake of this news, American farmers are not happy. National Black Farmers Association President John Boyd Jr. joins me. Good evening, sir.
Thank you for having me, Greta.
How does this happen? Or tell me your reaction to the numbers that I just said.
Well, it's very appalling and offended to America's farmers. You know, here we are facing farm foreclosure. Many of our members are, and we never did receive the $4 billion from the administration, but they have money hand over fist for Russia. They have money hand over fist for China, and you know, China's been buying America's farmland at these auctions, but we can't buy land in China. They're buying American companies such as Syngenta and Smithfield Foods. How can these things be happening while American farmers are losing their land? Last year alone, Greta, we lost over 10,000 American farms here. And I've been trying to get this administration, Secretary Vilsack, along with President Biden, to issue a farm moratorium that would include direct loans at USDA, guaranteed loans, and other agricultural lenders. I met with Senator Schumer about stopping these farm foreclosures. So here we are losing our farms at home, and no one's came to our aid, but this administration has over $1 billion for two of America's worst adversaries, Russia and China.
You know, I have a hard time figuring this out because, you know, there's been so much chatter about getting less dependent on other countries like Russia and China and specifically, and to bring the supply chain here. So you would think that we would do all the things to avoid having to buy, you know, any food or drugs or anything, or appliances from other countries. So I'm having a harder time understanding why we don't, we don't aggressively support, for instance, the American farmer, black farmers, or any kind of farmers.
Well, it's very frustrating, and I've been pleading with this administration to take action and to help America's farmers. You know, last week alone, when I was out in Oklahoma trying to stop a farm foreclosure, and then before that in South Carolina, with no help from the administration. But here again, they have money for farmers in China. I mean, how offensive is that? So here we are right here at home, Americans, citizens and farmers. The oldest and hardest occupation in the world is to be a farmer. And it looks like we should be greeted, Greta, as first in the supply chain, the American farmer, but we're greeted last. And this administration has shown us that when everyone else can get help. And I've been pleading with this administration to help the American farmer. And right now, Greta, they haven't done it.
You know, I don't know if I'm mixing apples and oranges, but one of the things that came up was there was a pause on student loan repayments for loan forgiveness. And I thought to myself when I heard it that, look, I hate that students are drowning in loans, that it's hurting the families. However, at least if you're 25, you have a shot at making money in the future. If you are, for instance, a farmer at 55 or 60 and you need to buy a tractor, chances are it's like, and if you get that loan, you don't have much of a lifespan or occupation that you're going to be able to pay back that loan. And, I don't know if you feel the same way I do about that, but, I grew up in a farm state, so I'm sensitive, I think, to some of the farm issues. And I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, it's tough. It's tough. And here again, the administration just hasn't done enough. I'm going to come right out and say it. And thank you guys for taking a look at this story. And it's so frustrating because out here in rural America, we can't get the assistance. Whether you're a black farmer, white farmer, but we have assistance for Ukraine farmers, where this administration has put over $80 billion into Ukraine and also assisted Ukraine farmers with direct operating loans. American companies gave them equipment, things of this nature, but we can't get the same right here at home, where this administration repealed debt relief, and the Secretary of Agriculture should be held accountable too, because some of these monies came from USDA directly to China producers. But here we are at home, we can't get the help. So I'm
Well, you've
hearing
given
this
me
asking America to support us. You know, we need support now.
You give me an idea. I've traveled like to North Dakota where the Chinese were buying some land, and there's a controversy over that. But I think because we're in this campaign season, I really should get out and talk to a farmer and find out about the loans and the needs. You know, we just do flyovers from the East Coast to the West, and we miss a lot of that. So I'm gonna put you on my to-do list as an issue I need to cover this election season. John Boyd Jr., thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.